Hi, everyone. Before we start the show, I just want to say that there are a few movies that are going to be spoiled a little bit throughout the conversation with our guests. One movie is Anomalisa, the movie Up, Bambi, Sleepers, Dancer in the Dark, Requiem for a Dream. And that being said, enjoy the show. Welcome to Best Most, where we ask what is the best and what is the most when it comes to movies, music, and other things we enjoy and love. I'm your host, Jose Jogo Gonzalez. Each episode, I'll post questions on social media. We then discuss the community's responses along with my own and my guests' answers. This is the first episode, and our guest is film director Stephen Joseph Craig. He has directed films such as Waking Nightmare, Dinner at Manny's, and besides his directorial work, he has also acted in several films. Recently, he co-starred in a short film titled Date with Death. Additionally, Steven is a talented musician and founder of Brycore Films. Welcome, Stephen Joseph Craig.
Thanks, Jogo. Hey, thanks for having me on your first episode. I feel quite honored um, for that trust in me.
I'm pretty excited about it, and I'm extremely nervous, especially, you know, the whole talking aspect of a podcast. I'm excited to have you on because you're a friend and also, again, like a talented um, director, writer, musician, all that stuff. And this is going to be an episode where we're kind of going into movies, topics that have to do with movies. So pretty
Yeah,
exciting.
I'm definitely excited. Let's get into it.
Perfect. So, what we're doing again, as I mentioned in the intro, I did post a couple of questions for on social media for like people to kind of like answer, and then we're going to discuss them right now. Uh, with their answers. So the question number one is, what is the most emotionally devastating movie? And full transparency, I did let Steven kind of choose which questions we're going to go with, and I kind of feel this question goes with how I know you as a person, like your personality, your taste in music, and you're kind of like, I don't know, you have kind of like a, I don't know, I'm not, I don't want to like offend you in any way on the first podcast, maybe on the fifth podcast or something. But do you kind of agree that that might go with a certain aspect of your personality?
Emotionally devastating, like enjoying things that are emotionally devastating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, 100%. I don't know what it is, but I like things that dig their claws in me to an extent, especially I think especially when it's fictional, like when it's a piece of art, like when it's performance and it's, writing and directing and all those components coming together to create something that hits me so deeply emotionally that I can't stop thinking about it and I need to watch it again or I need to listen to it again or whatever it is. I respect any artist that could pull that off and I don't know what it says about me or I don't think I'd be offended but but on the other hand, like, I know my wife like listens to uh murder podcasts and stuff like that stuff upsets me more like in a way that I don't enjoy it, like I don't like now there are documentaries that are fantastic that that maybe should be on this list, but
Oh,
uh but for me, I can enjoy things that hurt, things that are like sometimes considered unpleasant, if it's like done well or executed well by the artist, so I don't know this that answers the question.
yeah, yeah. No, it does answer the question, but I also, like it's kind of funny. I feel a similar, like I think knowing you since I've known you for a fairly short time, I'd say, right? But I think you kind of bring that out of me as well too. Like I normally would watch certain movies, like horror movies or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think I'm a little bit more kind of like I'm getting a little bit more brave. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck it, let's just do this. Um, so yeah, I appreciate that.
But it's cool to me that, like, even you explaining it, like, like I'm gonna be brave and watch this movie. Like to me, that's so cool that a movie is, you know, achieves whatever that is that you need to be brave to watch it. That it's like
Yeah,
difficult, like, you know, you're challenging yourself, uh, you know, to watch it. And it's interesting because yeah, I know like, you know, it's easy to say like the most important thing about a movie is to be entertaining and it's like a form of entertainment. But then I challenge that because sometimes it's like I think a film can do so much more than just like entertain and just be fun. I like when films are fun, but
yeah,
you know, one of the films that I would like put on my list of emotionally devastating would be like American History X is something I always bring up as a film that I saw when I was young and it showed me a part of the country and like, you know, it showed me a part of life that I wasn't familiar with and it was unpleasant and it was radical and bold and insane and you don't see movies like that so much anymore. I mean you do, but yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know if American History X the way it was done back then would be done today because you know and I think that's in some ways unfortunate because yeah it introduced me to a part of life that uh, I was really taken aback and affected me and I had to watch it multiple times to really grasp it and so
mhm,
that's what I mean. I mean, movies like that I think are important. Movies that are shocking, I think sometimes can have a lot of value, and so yeah, I think that stuff's great. I don't think movies just you know should only exist to be comic book like walking comic books or whatever.
yeah, yeah. It's I'd watched the movie and I mentioned it to you the other day, the coffee table.
Yeah,
Um, and what's funny was I was trying to explain that movie to one of my coworkers today, and after telling her, the premise of the movie and feeling very weird after, because it's such a fucked up movie. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And I'm not gonna say too much because I don't wanna give it away, but the movie itself is a really, like, bizarre movie, but very well executed, very disturbing movie, um, and I liked it, you know? I liked the movie, but if
yeah,
you knew what the movie was, you would kinda be like, "Oh my god, this guy's a fucking weirdo." But at the same time, like, I think certain movies like that movie, created tension in such a way that was, like, so well done. But that being said, let's go into the community's, answers. So again, the question is, what is the most emotional, devastating movie? So let's see, from David Antonio Garcia, he chose Instructions Not Included. And his reason was totally flips the mood in the last second. Next person, her name is Adriana Alba. Her movie pick was Florida Project. So some of these people did choose just the movie, didn't go into detail, but I still think it's pretty important to hear these. Next person was Tony Barfaloni. His movie was Anomalisa. And the reason he chose was that movie is so tragically human. There's no real big event except for the speech the main character has to make, but it captures some everyday mundane cruelty that's present in everybody you've ever met. I watched it a second time just to make sure. I don't think I have the courage for a third. It's also beautiful but infinitely sad. Have you seen that movie before?
yeah. I actually coincidentally just rewatched. I saw it at AFI Fest when it first premiered, and then I just rewatched it like a couple of weeks ago, and it is profoundly sad. I would say for me, it didn't it doesn't the thing for me about that movie is I think the main character is so cynical. It's a movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's a movie about a guy who is, like, too cool for the zoo. Like, part and that's really, like, part of it is that he's cynic like, he's people say that they wanna go to the zoo, and he immediately they're just everyone else is a bunch of noise to him. And I
Oh
under
yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I understand it, and it is sad there's a sadness, and there's, like, a helplessness to it. But I also think, like, you know, that guy's just so full of himself that he
hmm
just feels like everyone is below him, and I'd be curious to, like, of another perspective because 'cause I'm sure there's like, not everyone feels that way, but that's kind of what I got it from it in the second viewing is like, I think Lisa is gonna be okay because has this, like, fun, quirky confidence where, like, she knows she's flawed and she'll go back to the call center and be okay, and
yeah.
and the main character is gonna keep kind of having to live with his own, like, cynicism, but it just feels like, for me, not that I didn't relate at all to the character, but I also kinda thought, like, "Thank God I'm not that much of a pompous ass." That, like, if somebody's like, "Oh, you should go to the zoo," I'm not, like, judging him and thinking like, "Oh, what a, Philistine," or whatever, or
Yeah.
that like, everyone else is just a bunch like, I love that I don't know if you probably know, but they had there's only 3 actors in the whole movie. It's the main character, it's,
Mhm.
uh, Jennifer, uh, what's her name? Jennifer Jason Leigh,
Yeah.
who plays Lisa, and then it's Tom Noonan, who plays every other character. So the
Mhm.
idea is like that every other character is just like a blend of like noise, and like background noise. So every other person in this guy's world is just like noise, from his own child to his wife to his friends to like the
Yeah.
taxi driver and everyone. And so, like, to me, he's such a pompous ass that, it's like I hope he gets better, but I also hope that I'm not that much of a cynic.
I mean, I thought it was sad, pretty tragic in the way that from Lisa's point of view, she found someone that made her feel special and feel seen. And uh once he kind of loses that, he just kind of like he's like, "Yeah, get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
And she's just kind of like, "Oh, like what did I even do really?" Like it's just existing really.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That's a sad scene.
but I think I think you're right, she's gonna be fine. But I think on his end, it's kind of sad. It's sad in the way that you see people who are shitty people, and you're
Mhm.
like, "Man, I feel bad for this person because they're such a shitty person." Um,
Right,
and at the end of the day, he kind of like life has pretty much lost its luster to him, really. Like that guy's
right.
pretty much like 3 seconds away from jumping off like a cliff. Like I don't know. I thought it was a pretty sad movie. Very human, very selfish in certain ways, and which is very human in a lot of ways. But yeah.
I think the craziest thing to me is that his own son is just another person. Like,
Mhm.
like his own
That's pretty
child
shitty.
who's like depicted as, I don't know what, like 8 years old or less, like a small, like a, very young child that hasn't even developed into an adult, or
Yeah.
hasn't even, like, developed, you know what I mean? Like, not even in adolescence yet. And yeah, like, he's out there cheating on his wife, purposely looking to cheat on his wife, like, confusing his ex, like, trying to rekindle the flame just for a one night stand.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's real shitty. Like, he's real shitty, but no, I love that. 'Cause I do think, and that's something I was gonna bring up, is sort of films that can make you feel sympathy for someone that you'd otherwise overlook. Uh,
Mhm.
I was gonna bring that up, but, about some of the movies that crossed my mind when I was thinking about this, and that probably falls in that category. Like, he's, just, he's a guy that you wouldn't really otherwise sympathize with, and now you kinda get a glimpse in his world, and you're right, like, it's miserable. Like, his life is just miserable. Like,
Yeah.
he can't enjoy anything, and then he has this, like, fleeting moment where he can appreciate something, and then it comes and it goes, and then there's just another victim, in his wake.
It's like a real intense version of going, a different route to work just to kind of get some kind of kick.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like your life kind of becomes a routine at times, and you go through a certain cycle of like kind of like mundane whatever, and then it's like, well, I'm gonna make a left today.
Yeah, there's also that dream sequence where, everybody wants to have sex with him, and I wondered if that, like, is that just, like, how full of himself this guy is, or, like, how high, like, did I misinterpret it? 'Cause you remember there's a whole dream sequence where after he sleeps with Lisa, he cheats on his wife, he sleeps with Lisa, he wakes up, the hotel manager calls him to the office. It ends up being this sort of, like, nightmare dream sequence, but in that sequence, every character like, lunges at him and says they wanna sleep with him, or they wanna, like, be with him, or they're in love with him, and to me, it's just like, that's his subconscious. Like, literally, this guy, even in his, like, deepest core, just thinks the world of himself and just
Mm,
thinks so little of everybody else, that, like, everyone is, just
yeah.
there to kind of worship him. Like, I yeah, again, like, I'd be interested to hear another if there's another perspective, but, like, I kinda came at it the last times watching it, it's just like, "That guy sucks."
Yeah, I mean, do you think he knows he sucks? Or I mean, I know you're kinda saying you're making the point of that he's like, "Well, you know, everyone wants to hook up with me," but there has to be a certain sense of, like I think everyone that sucks, I'm sure knows that they suck.
But don't like, how much do they care? Like, I guess, yeah,
Yeah,
there's, like, how much self-awareness is there? And, like, um, and does it matter? Because I don't think he it all seemed everything seems to be about him. I mean,
yeah,
even, you know, with the wife at the end, she kind of hints at just he's always just in his own like, in his own shit all the time, where she's like, at the end, it's like, "Look, you're among all these people that love you, and, you know, your kid and me, and we put this all together, and you know, and you come back and you just make this miserable claim about, 'I don't even know who you are,' or 'What is this for?' or whatever it was. Everything's
yeah,
about his own existence and whatever." So it's like in trying to find his own happiness in his own existence, he's just not realizing that there's kind of joy and happiness around him that is not, you know, that's there for the taking. He just can't accept it, and
yeah,
it makes it, you know, it makes his wife miserable. And it's kind of like we all have these, you know, we all have these issues. Like we all have, you know, some existential questions or, you know, challenges or whatever. And then a guy like that just takes it and turns it into a thing that makes it everyone else's problem,
yeah,
or something. I definitely There definitely seemed to be like a lot of just like self-centeredness, whether he needs it or not, or whether it's like he's a victim of himself or not.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I think that's what the movie was going for. It definitely it's not a happy movie, even though it has some really funny
No.
parts.
I think it's a really well done movie, and it's meant to kind of emote, like, a certain feeling of, like, discomfort, and when you're watching it, you feel the staleness of this guy's life, and the almost like the pain, but also the distaste and, like, his horribleness just kind of comes out of the movie, I think, which I think it did a great job of doing, let's see, so next choice is or next answer is bu 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 is Abby, and she chose A Walk to Remember. Um, Kiana chose Boy with the Striped Pajamas, which is a pretty sad movie. Have you
Yeah.
seen that movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Rosa, my wife, chose Train Dreams with Joel Edgerton that just came out on Netflix not too long ago.
Yeah, I
Have you
didn't see it, but I was gonna bring it up for a reason, but sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, we watched it, and, I think it's funny because like, I normally can't like, my wife is very she will surprise me with certain things where she'll kinda say, like, "That really affected me in a certain way."
Mhm.
When she's super like, "Oh, you know, movies, I don't feel always, like, kind of affect her." For me, I'm like, "Oh my god, this movie, blah, 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 blah,"
Mhm.
and for her, she's like, "Yeah, it's a good movie." So for her to say, like, you know, "This movie really affected me," I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
See, so Kathmandu's, mentioned the movie Up, and her reason was, "Man, I'll never watch Up again. I avoid sad movies in general," and that was unwarranted. Um, and it's funny because like, we're do you ever watch, reactions on YouTube to, like to things?
I have, yeah, I have.
Like,
Mostly
first reactions
more
What's up?
music. More music,
Yeah.
like seeing a classical composer listen to death metal or something.
I'm watching this YouTube, you know, these people watch sad things because I don't have a heart, so it's nice to see people have hearts and express emotion. So yesterday we watched, reactions to the first scene of Up, like, the first, like, you know, opening, and I
Yeah.
was, like, freaking loving it, but, people were just losing their shit. Rosa started tearing up.
It's amazing. It's yeah, it's a movie and it's like a short film and it's really emotionally it's really effective.
Yeah.
And,
I think I did cheer up to that movie though. That intro, I was, like, really in it for a little bit. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
no, I think yeah, I mean, and it's not unlike Pixar to do that. They definitely twist the emotional knife sometimes, like, you know,
Yeah,
even Finding Nemo. I think has some really emotional depth to it. But Up just hits you hard in that beginning. Yeah, that beginning scene. I think everyone feels that.
What's funny is that watching it, you see, like, this turn, and it's so instantaneous because everyone's like, "Oh, this is cool. Oh, this
Yeah.
couple, nice." And then they show them like, in the doctor's office, and then people are like, shift, like, "Wait, what? What is this?"
And it's that they started with the child, like
Yeah.
the child, like just that ambitious child energy of this little redhead girl, this like adorable redhead
Mhm.
freckled faced girl. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I think that's right. And how
Yeah.
and just that adventurous spirit. I think being paced so quickly like that, you never forget that, like, this is just a child, like, this even in your old age, there's this
Mhm.
ambitious, adventurous child inside of you, whether you get to fulfill those adventures or not, that
Oh, yeah.
child is still in there, and it's just so heavy. It's just there's something so, like, heavy and universally relatable to that sequence, and yeah, it's amazing.
Well, also, like, I think there's some of us that are kind of, like, more introverted, and then some of us that are more extroverted, and what I liked watching in that scene was, like, you see this, person with a lot of energy and an extrovert, whatever, right? And she kinda just is like, "Alright, come with me, introvert. We're gonna go fucking live life." And I think that's kind of beautiful, like, when that happens sometimes, and
That's
I
interesting because it's true, they're like the yin yang, right? Like, they're the
yeah,
yin yang, so when she dies, like, he kind of loses that yin to his yang, and then kinda loses the adventure and whatever, and it takes
mhm.
this whole thing to gain it back. But yeah, yeah, it's true, they were like the perfect couple, which makes it all the more devastating.
Yeah. Yeah, because he kinda loses that aspect of his life that he probably, like,
Yeah, yeah,
that kind of fed some of I don't know, a part of him, a part of his soul, right?
yeah.
So next movie is or next person was, Caro 714. Movie is Stepmom. She had a few movies. She put Stepmom, All Dogs Go to Heaven, and Life is Beautiful.
Oof.
Reasons, Stepmom, she chose that one. It says, as a young mother, when I watched this, it just made me so sad to even imagine this happening in real life. But I thought it was beautiful and heartbreaking. Divorce, dealing with blended families, terminal cancer, and ultimately bonding and acceptance, all in the name of love for their children. For the children. Um, she chose All Dogs Go to Heaven because I have always been a dog lover. That was the first movie as a little kid that hurt and made me cry. It stuck with me. A few years later, my dog passed away, and I was never able to watch that movie again. Really good picks too. Um, yeah, it's kind of funny how like it goes like with the Pixar thing. It's not a Pixar movie, but like when you watch these certain movies as a kid, your idea of life is playing games like, hide and go seek and shit like that, and I think when you don't even think of the idea of death, you don't think of the idea of, immortality or whatever, and I think it's kinda crazy how a lot of these movies, like, Land Before Time, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Up,
Bambi.
uh, Bambi, like, they kinda have you confront these parts of of life that have never even you don't even know what the fuck that how to deal with any of it or what it is. And I remember, like, same thing watching All Dogs Go to Heaven and thinking like, "Wait, what is this? Like,
Right.
what are these emotions I'm feeling and what?" Like, like, I think it's pretty bold of a lot of movies to kind of have kids kind of confront that, and I think that's great because it's part of the, human experience. But yeah, I don't
Do you
know.
remember the first time that you were, like, hit emotionally in that way by a film where, like, it was a death or something devastating, and it was, like, the first time it hit you, and you had to, like, think about it?
I probably it was probably like Bambi. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. Like I kind of just remember watching it and thinking like how I don't know. Like I don't think I fully understood the heaviness of it. But I knew like internally I felt a little heavier. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I know mine. I don't, because I don't think Bambi really hit me. I think it was later in life that like people keep bringing it up as being super sad, and like I just don't think Bambi was one of my favorites. You know,
Yeah.
I
I'm
I don't
also
think.
a little older than you too as well, so that probably was factors
Yeah,
into it, right?
maybe. I mean, I was in the VHS days, so like I had all the Disney VHSs. So I mean, I did watch all of them. I just don't think Bambi. Well, I don't know, but Disney movies, I just don't know if I felt anything deeply for. But there was a movie called Angels with Dirty Faces. Have you ever seen that? It's a
Wait, what was it?
gangster movie.
What was
It's
it called
called
again?
it's called Angels with Dirty Faces. So my dad showed me, like, when I was a kid, he showed me all the classic films, like, old films. This is a gangster movie with James Cagney. Um, it ends, and I'd have to give a spoiler, but the way that it ends hit me so damn hard. I think I was 7 years old. I had to, like, I don't know, it was, like, in shock almost. Like, I had to, like, walk away and, like, think about it, and
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I had to, like, I've just never connected. It was the first time connecting with a character like that, and then watching this tragedy, or like this tragic death, or just this like tragic life and death situation, that
yeah,
the way he plays it too. I just James Cagney, I think, is one of the greatest actors. But it's mostly, like I said, because of that connection that I've had with his work. And that was, yeah, that was when I was 7. That's definitely one of those formative, like, I always gotta say, like, that's one of those formative movies that made me really just think of how, like, awesome movies are, that, like, it did that to me, that it, like, that
yeah.
old performance. I don't even know if it's in, I think it's late 40s, but maybe 50s, uh, still had such an impact on me. But yeah, I mean, no, also Fox and the Hound, that's sad. That's a
That was a good
sad
one.
one. Yeah, for
See,
if we're
that's cool that your dad actually showed you those classic movies. I grew up with like and not to knock my family or my parents or anything like that, but we did watch like a lot of like horror movies, like 80s horror movies, and that was a lot of the shit we watch. And I'm what's kind of funny is that like I'd watch like, Nightmare on Elm Street or uh like The Exorcist or anything like that, and that feeling of like, "Oh shit, this person's dying, I feel sad about it," never hit me at all. It was mainly just like, "Whoa, this is happening," and I don't think I even understood that at that time.
interesting.
Um, but it took like Bambi to to really kick my ass, you know?
Yeah, yeah. "It took Bambi to kick my ass," is the quote.
That'll be
Yeah, yeah.
the name of the episode. Um,
Yeah, I love that.
but, let's see what else we got here. We got, Miss Beas. The movie she chose was The Green Mile. The reason was that it's traumatizing, which I agree. Let's see. Eddie Carmona chose Sleepers, which is a phenomenal movie. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And
I haven't actually. That is on my
it's
radar.
it's really good. And I should have said this earlier, but there are going to be spoilers in this podcast. I feel like we spoiled a few things already, but by the way, Bambi's mom does not die. So let's see. But, Sleepers, his reason I don't know if I wanna say this because like, you kinda get some idea of what happens, and if you haven't seen it, I don't know. Steve, it's up to you.
Is the if you're gonna spoil it, I'll cover my ears.
Okay, cover yours.
Okay. Okay, go.
Alright,
Give me a thumbs up when you're done.
okay. Alright, so the reason, Eddie Carmona he is covering his ears, chose this was, "It's a lifelong impact from childhood trauma. Super sad, and I like that the kids get their revenge as adults on the Shad Institute that brought their trauma."
Okay.
Thumbs up.
I only have to
Okay.
cover one ear, which is
A nice economic. Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so Emmanuel Pedrosa, he chose Past Lives. Reason is because it gives you a reason to cry every 15 minutes. Have you
It's
have you seen Past Lives?
no, but, I'm curious.
Yeah, that movie, it's like that whole movie is a will they, won't they thing. Like, you have people who connected when they were really young and then years later, like, reconnect. But,
Mhm.
the main character who's played by Greta Lee, I believe, she, is already in a relationship, a committed relationship with someone, and the person from her past kind of comes along and like, visits her from uh, a different part of the world. And I guess the whole movie, you're like, man, are they gonna like fall in love?
Yeah.
And it gets pretty intense. But yeah. Anyways, so those are that's for question number one. So I think those are really like great answers.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for answering these questions, community. And it brought up some really good
Yeah.
conversations here. So, okay, so I asked Steven to, pick to answer the question. Again, what is the most emotionally devastating movie? So, Steven, what is the most emotionally devastating movie, Steven Joseph Craig?
Really hard for me to answer, especially because like I went through so many movies in my head. I have a big list here. I won't go through them all. But and it's weird to say that like I don't know, something like The Wrestler about like a hulking like fuck up is more equal to or more devastating than something like Schindler's List, where it's like you're
Yeah,
so it's like it's or 12 Years a Slave, which is such a huge topic, versus something like Ghost Story, which is so much more smaller scale and just like a millennial kid dies.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's really hard to pick. So I had to just go with personally what struck me the most. Uh, and it's interesting because it's a movie that the first time I saw it, and this is gonna hint at our next topic because I think it's sometimes it's important to watch movies more than once or give movies more of a chance. Because the first time I saw it, I made fun of it. I thought it was silly. It didn't hit me at all. I gave a ton of shit to the person that showed it to me. I made fun. I was a total dick about it. The second time I saw it, I wept. The third time I saw it, I wept. I read the script. I read a lot of screenplays. It's the
uh-huh.
only screenplay I read that I got emotional reading. And that's Dancer in the Dark. Lars von
Oh
Trier,
wow,
yeah, starring Björk. Just unbelievably moving. The performance is so raw and gripping and real. I think that Von Trier also I brought up cynicism with Anomalisa. I know he could be cynical, he could be nihilistic, and there's a little bit of that in Dancer in the Dark. But there's something. This is part of what he referred to as his Golden Heart trilogy, where
uh,
which was also like Breaking the Waves, which is also another heartbreaking film. Um, where he takes a protagonist who's just genuinely good at their core, who's almost like has nothing but good intentions and does everything right in their lives and lives selflessly, but just lives in a world of corruption where
uh-huh.
where we just watch them sort of spiral through no fault of their own, spiral through this corruption and other people's greed and end up in a place where it's helpless and they end up with a tragic demise. And in the case of Dancer in the Dark, it's a musical and sort of an avant-garde, I guess, or experimental musical, um, that where the music, again, if you're not into if you're an idiot like I was when I was 19, I couldn't. It was just over my head. Like the music seemed silly to me, and then for some reason, when I was a little older and I watched it, it was very hypnotic and it drew me in. And then that last song that she
Mhm.
sings, I think it's called Selma's Last Song or something like that. It's Bjork singing a cappella. It's her powerful singing voice with no instrumentation. It brings you into the reality of her situation, and
Yeah.
it's so sad. It's so like thinking about it, I'm getting emotional. I just think, yeah, like I
You can
said, I have a lot here, but that's the one I think that hits me the hardest.
you can cry here, it's okay. It's
Thanks, man.
you can definitely cry here. I'm not gonna respect you less in any way just because I might even cry. Hopefully, that could, we'll get likes or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, people
I'm
love
kidding.
that
Cry
shit.
cry for the likes.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, no, but, it's funny, I watched that movie once, and what I remember about the movie was, um yeah, I mean, the casting for that movie was, like, perfect.
yeah,
Bjork is, like, this kind of dainty, like, whimsical, sweet character and like salt of the earth. You know, I know she was like she's like a factory worker or something, right?
Yes, yeah.
And
And she's losing her eyesight,
yeah,
so even that, like, measly paying job that she has, uh, she's clearly gonna lose it soon. She's making mistakes in the factory that are very dangerous, and she's a single mother with a son, who
mhm,
and she does everything she does is for her son, but she has, like, a big daydream. She which is something that I think I sympathize a lot with. Another movie that's on my list is, and this was a polarizing one, I know some people really hated it, which bums me out because I loved it so much, is, I'm thinking of Ending Things, which is another Charlie
oh yeah,
Kaufman, the guy that did Anomalisa. So,
mhm,
uh, because I do think Charlie Kaufman's a genius, and Anomalisa is a really great film. It was a great pick, but something about that movie, same thing, where it's like I definitely relate to people whose heads are in the clouds, like mine are. I think where like like so much of
yeah,
our life is in our daydreams or in our fantasy, and then you get hit with like reality or whatever, and that could be kind of painful sometimes, that dichotomy, I guess,
yeah.
between fantasy and reality. And yeah, in the case with Dancer in the Dark, I think it hits that nerve too, that she has this like that all like this joy and stuff is from, because she's also like a good person, so like all this like joy and like light and happiness is like all inside her, and like and her life is a musical in her head, and just the world just beats that out of her till the end.
And it's kind of like, I mean, real life in general. You know, you can be a beautiful soul and still life kind of just is life, and life kind of you know, like we all die and we all go through a lot of horrible things at times. And at the end of the day, like you could be the biggest piece of shit or you could be one of the best people, and
Mhm.
you just have sometimes very little control over it. So I think that
Yeah,
movie does have a kind of like a realistic human aspect to that, like a real life, I don't know, aspect to it.
for
But
sure.
plus again, like Bjork fucking killed it. Like I
Whew.
think Bjork is definitely just one of those kind of like human beings that just they see things almost like the Matrix, you know? But it's like more colors instead of just green. And
Yeah, that's a good way to
right?
put it. Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. She's on another wave.
Like have you ever seen that clip where she's talking about like a TV? Like
Yeah.
they like I love that clip where
Yeah,
they
yeah,
like take
it's great.
apart the TV. She's like, "Oh, there's like little cities." And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
I
"Oh,
I know
fuck."
that her and Lars von Trier didn't get along all the time on that set, but I know Lars von Trier is a famously horrible person to work with.
Yeah.
But damn if he didn't get an incredibly gripping performance out of Björk. Like, she just, and I think it's the only time she acted, at least to that extent. I think she may have,
Mhm.
I could be wrong, but I think she may have said she'll never do a movie again after that, like, because she put
Uh,
so much emotion into it. But it comes out. I mean, it is a painful performance, and just so much depth and so much range in that performance, going from, again, like a musical star in her own head,
mhm.
to someone who's on trial for murder, and just terrified for their child's safety, and their like life's about to end. And it's so, and again, and I think the thing that's so, one of the things that's so effective about it too, I remember watching it with my friend, and we agree, like, if you were on the jury, it's not even like you would side with Bjork. Like in a lot of
Yeah.
cases, if you'd like to think, if you're in a movie, and it's also just like how good Lars von Trier's writing can be. Like, I don't think he gets a lot of credit for how good his writing can be. But like in the case with Dancer in the Dark, it's like, it's not like, oh, what, why can't these people see how good she is or whatever. He
Yeah.
does it in such a way that it's like, no, if you were there, you would think she's guilty too. She's not. She's
Mhm.
clearly not guilty, but only because, you were shown that information. But if you were on that
Yeah.
jury, if you were like in the public, if you were that, David Morse's wife or whatever, the guy's wife who, she's being accused of killing. Yeah, you would want her, you would vote for her hanging or whatever, or at least you'd at least
Yeah.
say she's guilty. And it's just like, it is just one of those things of how like helpless life can be. Like even just the thought of an innocent person, I think, being hanged, or, an
Yeah.
innocent person being persecuted like that is always such a frustrating idea. And I think with Dancer in the Dark, it's like you're almost it almost confronts you in a way that you're part of the jury that's putting her to death. Like you're part
Yeah.
of that world that doesn't allow someone good like Björk, yeah, or Björk's character to live. you know,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also like the limited information that we get as in general of like people in most situations. So
yeah,
like, oh, we get what's given. We kind of go off of what's given and then make that decision right away. But we don't really know every single thing. But
yeah.
um,
Like how often do we become just part of the like angry mob that doesn't,
yeah,
it doesn't really know as much as we like to think we do.
yeah. So my choice uh for the most emotionally devastating movie is Requiem for a Dream.
Nice.
So if you haven't seen this movie, it's one of those movies that I think you can watch once and then just burn it, you know? Um,
Yeah.
I literally, I had heard about this movie from like, a friend, a while back, and I kind of saw it at the, like a Blockbuster or some shit like that. And it was on sale. And I was like, you know what? I'll just buy it. So,
Yeah.
I bought it for like super cheap. I watched it and I gave it away to someone like when like, very quickly after. Um, so the movie itself, let's see, I'll read what it says here on, like, IMDb really quick. Drug-induced utopias of 4 Coney Island people are shattered when their addictions run deep. I think that's pretty a
Yeah.
decent, summary. Mainly, you have 4 individuals that kinda go through their experiences with addiction. Um, and they yeah, it starts off pretty chill, but it gets very, very dark very quickly. Jennifer Connelly is in it, Jared Leto, Marlon Wayans, and Alan Burstyn.
Ellen Burstyn, who's the mother from The Exorcism, and to
Oh,
me,
that's right.
yeah, yeah, and to me, that's the I don't know. I was gonna ask you like what really hits you with this movie, and to me, it's her. It's like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's her performance.
She was probably, like, the least deserving of, the outcomes, meaning, like, I think she just her character was convinced that she's gonna go on some game show or something like that, that she really
Mm.
loves, um, so she wants to kind of lose a few pounds to, like, look, camera ready, I guess you could say, but, she ends up taking these weight loss pills and, she gets pretty much just, like, fucking addicted, almost like meth or speed or something like that, and uh slowly pretty much loses her mind and her footing, right? So I think what kind of caught me with this movie was uh so Darren Aronofsky is a director, and he also co-wrote with Hubert Shelby Jr. And I'm cheating on this, I'm reading on IMDb,
Who's
but
the author of the book? And actually, I just listened to the audiobook, like back in October. I listened to the audiobook of Requiem for a Dream, and I've read another one of his books, and he's a really good writer. If you're into like beat style,
Mhm.
like beatnik style, sort of like poetic prose, and like just dark, heavy, like underbelly of American life.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's kind of funny is that this movie does strike me to be similar to that feel, like a beat style. It's very like boom, 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 boom. Like
Mhm.
it has a certain rhythm to it. Um, and I think that really adds to like the effect of the movie, where when you're watching it, you feel the intensity just growing, the tension growing, and like it's uneasy. It's like super uneasy. I remember watching it and thinking like, gosh, damn it, like
Yeah.
what like, nothing is getting better for any of these people. It's and I you can just feel the desperation and,
Hmm.
it's oh, man, it's hard to it's a hard watch, but it's, like, super well made, um,
Yeah.
and almost the way it's shot feels very, what's the word? Like, it feels like you're closed in with them pretty much with whoever is in the scene. Claustrophobic. It feels very claustrophobic altogether.
Yeah. It's very stylized, especially the drug scenes, drug scenes, the scenes with Ellen Burstyn in her apartment where and a lot of that's in the book, but I think it's faster paced and more intense in the movie. The refrigerators attacking her, people are coming out of the TV, as things escalate, the camera is sort of just more like fisheye lens stuff or like
Mm.
strapped with like this. There's some great shots with this camera strapped to the actor as they're like running through the alley or
Yeah.
puking, outside, yeah, things just become. I think he called them. I think Aronofsky called them like hip hop montage or something. Like whenever they do drugs or whatever, it like has a quick, almost like Sam Raimi style, like where it goes like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
snap, 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 like, yeah,
Yeah.
close up, close up, close up, and it'll be like a, like the powder and then getting like,
Like Evil Dead
liquefied.
where, like, you're kind of following the demon kinda, like, view?
Yeah, well, that or like, how sometimes Sam Raimi will be like it'll be really fast close-ups of like the chainsaw, like the arm, like
Oh, yeah, kind of almost like, what's his name? Not the
Bruce
director
Campbell.
of Shaun of
Bruce
the Dead as well.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not Nick Frost, that's the actor, I guess I can use this.
Forget his name because yeah, he's great, but I always Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright, there we go.
Yeah, exactly, like, he uses that too, that sort of like bang, 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 like that quick, uses that, like, every time they're about to, like, shoot up or whatever, it'll be, like, close up of the drug, close up of it being, like,
Yeah.
prepared, close up of the pupil dilating or whatever. So, yeah, I think just, like, brimming with style. I had a film teacher that criticized it for being, like, over stylized, like, too much. But I think, like, it was one of his early films where he just, like every scene has like something that he wanted to put into it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it could I'm sure it could also be kind of exhausting as a audience member too. Like, if
Mhm.
it's, like, every single like, almost like every single shot is, like, beautiful, and then you're kinda like, "Okay,
Yeah, enough.
move it along," yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I liked it though.
Alright.
Yeah, I loved
I
it.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, there's certain things yeah, but that movie, have you watched it a few times, or is it, like, a thing where you've only watched it
No,
once
no,
or
it's
twice?
been like you called out, I gravitate towards painful movies. I've watched
Yeah.
it a few times for sure.
Oh,
It's
shit.
been it's been a long time though, but yeah, I mean, Aronofsky's not maybe not one of my favorite directors, but he sure can, when he wants to, make a character that you feel absolute devastation for. And The
Mhm.
Wrestler hit me really hard when I saw that in the theater. And then The Whale that came out a couple years
Oh,
ago
yeah.
is just, yeah, again, devastating. Like he definitely can tell a good tragedy.
And he really kinda pulls these performances out of actors that, like, you wouldn't expect, you know? Like, I mean,
Mhm.
Marlon Wayans, I wouldn't have expected him to be as, like, fucking great as he was in the, Requiem for a Dream. Um, Same with, what's his name, from The Wrestler?
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. That's right.
Yeah, amazing performance. Just like, yeah, really nuanced, very real. And again, that's it's funny. I have on in my notes here that there's like a subgenre of emotionally devastating films that's like the tragic Hulk, and it's like The Wrestler, Raging Bull, um, La
Mhm,
Strada, which is a Fellini film with Anthony Quinn. There's also a movie with Anthony Quinn called Requiem for a Heavyweight, which is a lot like The Wrestler, but older. Uh,
mhm.
um, Written by Rod Serling, who did The Twilight Zone. He's another guy that knows how to like pull emotional,
Oh,
thi-
yeah.
like he did. Yeah, he's done. If you see this stuff he did besides Twilight Zone, he's done some great like Playhouse 90 or like films for TV that like for the time are just really like heavy and emotional and stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm a big fan of him, obviously. But yeah, The Wrestler, Raging Bull, like those are two movies that's like you wouldn't feel sympathy for that guy in real life, and then you get kind of a deeper glimpse at who they are and that they're sort of a victim of themselves, and
Yeah.
and how shitty it is, and two just really good performances.
Whoa, 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 okay. This is to you, audience, whoever's listening. Okay, that was the end of part one of my conversation with Stephen Joseph Craig. Thank you to everyone who answered the question online. Thank you to Stephen Joseph Craig for joining me as my guest. Remember, there are no such things as guilty pleasures. Love what you love and enjoy what you enjoy. Thank you for listening to Best Most. Until next time, take care and take care of each other.